We're in the final seconds of a super exciting Game 7 between an overachieving Thunder team and the small bar Rockets lineup. The Thunder had a 1-point deficit, and clutch CP3 had a huge opportunity to potentially end an era in the history of his former team, and had a great matchup against Robert Covington, who got torched by the point guard in the clutch time of Game 6. But Russell Westbrook, who surprisingly played very smart help defense here, got the ball out of Paul's hands and prevented an open three. And although the red-hot Luguentz DORT was left unguarded on the weak side, James Harden, who was frequently criticized for his poor defense, narrowed the gap with a super aggressive closeout, took advantage of his massive wingspan, and crushed his soul with the biggest block of his whole NBA career. Hi everybody, this is Anthony, and in today's NBA Talk, I'm going to break down the plays in which Luguentz DORT gave Mike D'Antoni and the Rockets not a big deal, just a couple of heart attacks. And believe it or not, he did break a record set by none other than LeBron for most points by a 21-year-old or younger in Game 7 history, with 30 freaking points, including 6 shocking triples. And I'm also going to explain how James Harden responded to Chris Paul, if you know what I mean, with a huge plays on both ends of the floor that helped Houston survive the historic DORT attack. Now, before starting this video, I'd like to thank all the fans who subscribed to the channel and showed valuable support from more than 30 countries across the world with views, likes, comments, and shares. I also want you to know that I'm looking to get 1,000 subscribers very soon. So if you like my content, please subscribe to the channel and share it with other people so that I can publish valuable content more frequently.
And now, let the talk begin.
In his previous playoff games, DORT only made 18% of his threes, and ironically, he shot as poorly as a former three-point champion in Eric freaking Gordon. So how did he get his looks in Game 7? First of all, do you remember that I blamed the Rockets for giving up an easy switch on this CP3 side pick and roll instead of sticking to the ice coverage, ignoring DORT in the corner, and allowing his men to protect the rim? If you do, note that on this play, the Rockets made an adjustment I was looking for, and if I was the coach, I would gladly live with the result, since this was just a single basket from the first quarter. At this point, DORT was 1 of 2 from a perimeter, and that was okay for the Rockets, who kept sagging off of him. And although he was 1 pass away on this play, Covington understandably tried to discourage what could have been a destructive middle drive, but once again, the strategy backfired on them, and the late contest by Rocco looked meaningless. As we all know, the Rockets' switching defense against ball screens in Game 6 put Rocco in disastrous one-on-one matchups against CP3. But on this high pick and pop, another adjustment was made, and I loved seeing Gordon double-teaming Paul to get a ball out of his hands. Meanwhile, Harden was in a 1-on-2 situation at the perimeter and should have stunned it to DORT to buy a precious second for a good closeout by Green. But it looks like he stunned it to Schroeder, and making threes for the wide-open DORT would look as easy as smashing that like button. Midway through the second quarter, DORT was 60% from 3, and the Rockets should have started to give him the Klay Thompson treatment already. And with Harden helping from the weak side, Gordon should have stood in the high post, then should have gone for the closeout to give Harden time to complete the X-out switch and to avoid any open three. But he did a jab step that wasn't enough to bother the super confident DORT, who would drain his 3rd freaking triple in less than 3 minutes. What in the world is going on here? In clutch time, the Rockets missed a chance to make it a 3-possession game, and a crazy Covington, who could have simply run back on defense, took a huge risk that caused a 5-on-3 fast break. I repeat, 5-on-3. In fact, the sleepy Harden, who needed to buy some time for Rocco by stunning to DORT, forgot that in a close elimination playoff game, you can't practice social distancing and give up a practice shot for the scariest shooter on the floor. In spite of that, the Beard stepped up big time when it mattered most, and in the final 4 minutes he responded to Chris Paul, if you know what I mean, with huge 4 plays, including the series-winning block. So let's break down the other 3. On this out-of-bounds play, the Rockets couldn't avoid the matchup they didn't want, and Harden missed the passing option to the rolling Rocco. Anyway, let's pause the video for a second. It reminds me of another middle drive against Dort in Game 3. With the 6'10" Gallo being the weak side rim protector, Dort anticipated a righty layup that would expose the ball and let him go for an easy block from behind. But had Gallo and CP3 exchanged positions right here, Dort could have added another block against Harden to his highlight reel. Unfortunately for OKC, the switch didn't happen and the small rim protector on CP3 had no chance to bother this huge lefty layup that would give the Rockets a 2-point lead. With the game on the line, the Rockets managed to get rid of Harden's stopper this time, and once again, the Thunder didn't make the much needed weak side switch for better rim protection, which forced Adams to leave Tucker open in a corner. Give Tucker credit for his smart decision making. Instead of taking the same shot he missed a minute earlier, he attacked the closeout perfectly and knocked down a clutch push shot that gave the lead back to H-Town. By the way, did you notice that the Rockets avoided Adams as a weak side rim protector by putting Tucker in the strong side corner? Just watch how Harden can play smart defense in big moments like that, as he made sure to think that he gave up on the play, allowed him to go for a predictable righty layup that exposed the ball and resulted in another much needed block in the clutch. Does it remind you of a video revealing the truth about his defense? I highly recommend that you watch it if you haven't. At the end of this video, what are you expecting from the small ball Rockets lineup against the heavily favored Lakers? And what are you expecting from this unbelievable Luguentz DORT? Can he become an NBA star in the near future? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time.